Hey everybody, welcome to Bleacher Talk. Jordan Spurgeon alongside Claudia Collins. And it's hard to believe it, but we're kind of getting into the meat of the season already. I feel like we just started. I remember week one so vividly, and now all of a sudden we leave last week. And Claudia, I know you were kind of working remotely and watching a bunch of games on the stream, but that was the first time I was at a game where I wasn't drenched in sweat after. It wasn't as hot now. So the heat's cooling down. That just tells me the season's flying by. This is crazy.
It is already starting to fly by. And I've got to say, catching all the games from home was actually quite the experience because it was really cool to be in the loop on everything. I am waiting for the temperatures to cool down. But the other thing that was a big surprise this week is I finally went 3-0 and Spurge didn't. But Bruce and I both went 3-0. However, Spurge is still in the lead in first place, followed by Bruce and then me. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments here and see if I can catch up. Only one way to do that is by bringing in Bruce Cooper and starting off these quick picks. And I'm going to lead us off because I just want to make my pick right up front here. Corona del Sol at Marcos Deniza. I do think I have a slight advantage here because I've seen both teams play this season. Corona del Sol has had a tough start to the season. They've also had probably one of the toughest schedules so far this season. So I don't want their record to really reflect, them as a team. They've had an incredibly difficult schedule. However, Marcos Deniza really impressed me in week one. And despite losing to Yuma Catholic in that game, they really hung in there and they're a really, really gritty team. Brayson Leon is an awesome quarterback. I think it's going to be a fun quarterback matchup against Connor Ackerley. They're both like really good D2, D3 type quarterbacks. I think it's going to be pretty evenly matched. Another guy that stood out to me that I can't wait to see what he does this week, Manway Castro. Sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Had a couple good catches in that game for the Padres. I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to for me, even though Corona has had a really tough schedule and maybe that's built character, the chemistry between the Padres team is undeniable and they play well together. And I think the confidence that they have going into this game might be enough to overcome Corona despite the difficult schedule they've played. So I'm going to take Marcos in this game and I'm going to take it in a close one, 24-21. Coop, what do you think?
Well, Claudia, I do agree with you about the strength of schedule there. I mean, you look at Corona del Sol, their losses are to Centennial, Pinnacle, and Chandler. I mean, all three could be in the open division when all is said and done. So that's a gauntlet of a schedule, no doubt. I do like Marcos Deniza. I think they have an advantage in team speed, but I am a believer in strength of schedule. And I'm going to go the opposite direction of you. I'm going to take the Corona del Sol Aztecs. Give me Corona 30, Marcos 24.
Hey, I think it's going to be a close one, so I don't blame you for that pick. Spurge, it's a divide right now. Where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, you guys both hit on some really great points. I mean, Marcos Deniz has really been building the last few years. I know, Claudia, you and I did a Bleacher Talk last year, was really impressed with Coach and what he's got going on there. And we continue to see that progress this year. And Corona's kind of in the same boat. It's the second year with Jake Barrow. Last year was a bit of a rebuilding year. They get to the playoffs, didn't work out the way they wanted to. With Connor Ackley being hurt there, it just didn't quite work out. And, they're not going to be in a bad position at the end of the year either. They've faced the gauntlet of their schedule. I mean, on a 6A schedule, they've got one of the hardest 6A schedules of a team that's not even in the premier region this year. And, they've competed. Yes, the scores may not have been there, but I think that's going to be something that's caused them to grow. And it's not a knock on the Padres at all. I just think Corona del Sol's got a bit more talent right now. And so I think I'm going to pick them in a close game as well. Just like Coop, I'll say 27-21.
Hey, well, we all agree it's going to be a close one, it sounds like. I knew I was probably going to be a little bit different on this one, but there's only one way to come back, right?
Yeah.
All right. The next matchup is Williams Field at Red Mountain. I know this is always a fun one for Coop anytime we bring up Williams Field, but Spurge, I'm going to let you start us off.
Oh man, I've been going back and forth on this game for a while now. Williams Field 4-0. Dylan Lee, I mean, I haven't had a chance to see him this year. I saw him a little bit last year, and from everyone I've talked to, even since last year, he seems to be the best running back in the state. The numbers show it. and the eye test from people that I trust that have seen him play show it too. And so I think the difference in this game could come down to quarterback play over at Red Mountain. You've had a bit of a competition, and Kyle Heap kind of came back, but Simon Lopez played his way into the lineup, and he is still the guy, it appears, over there. He's having a really great season as a junior, and I think he is a very underrated quarterback this season that I've seen, that I've been impressed with the way he moves in the pocket and moves around in the pocket. And so in a game where I think that might come down to some clutch plays at the end of it, I'm still so torn, but I want to say Red Mountain's going to bounce back and slightly edge out Williamsfield in this one. I want to say it's 31 to 28.
Spurs, I agree a lot with everything that you said. Williamsfield is 4-0 so far to start the season. However, I think if we're talking about strength of schedule, they've kind of had a medium strength schedule at this point. Red Mountain lost a lot of, the big names from last season, but they always find a way to reload. And I know you've gotten to see them this season, and I've heard nothing but good things about where Red Mountain is at so far. Williamsfield has been consistent over the last few years. The Blackhawks had that big comeback win against Brophy to kick off the season, and I think that was a fun matchup here on Quick Picks to talk about. I'm also going to take this one in a close one, but there's only one way to come back, right? So I think I'm going to go Williamsfield also, close 28-25. Coop, Williamsfield or Red Mountain?
Well, look, this is one of those 6A East Valley region matchups. So it's a game that matters. So I know, both coaches, Steve Campbell over at Williamsfield and Kyle Enders over at Red Mountain, they're really emphasizing this week that everyone be on the same page. I mean, region games matter. But I do agree with something that Jordan said. He talked about Dylan Lee. I mean, this guy, he can take it the distance from any place on the field. And so I think the difference could be a fourth quarter Dylan Lee house call. And for that, I'm going to take the Williamsfield Blackhawks to win this one, 28-27.
All right, the last matchup that we've got for this week is Pinnacle at ALA Queen Creek. And Coop, since you're already on a roll, I'm going to let you start us off.
Well, I tell you what, Dana Zupke and his Pioneers 4-0, ALA Queen Creek, the Patriots with Ty Detmer, and of course, got to mention Max Hall, and I'm a big fan of Max Hall, even though he's the OC over there. They're 3-1, and look, their only loss was to Saguaro, the Sabercats, 49-35. And Saguaro is a team that just happens to be in the same region with Pinnacle. Pinnacle is in that region that's, I mean, you look at it right now, two of the best defenses in the state with Liberty and Centennial. They have Saguaro and Chaparral. That is a gauntlet. So I know Dana is really emphasizing and stressing the need to be undefeated before they hit region play. It's a road game for him. And so I think it's another one of those things that he's going to really emphasize. And I think I said it earlier this year, I'm just a huge Wyatt Horton fan. I think that his play will make the difference in most games before they hit region play. And for that, I'm going to take the Pinnacle Pioneers 35, ALA Queen Creek 24.
All right, Spurge, who you picking between these two?
Yeah, this is such a great matchup. Wyatt Horton, Enoch Watson. I've been so impressed by them this year so far. I actually ran into Wyatt Horton on the sidelines over at Notre Dame Prep on Friday night, and he's just a very good kid to talk about. Very bright, really watches a lot of high school football and kind of knows the ins and outs of all these teams. We had conversations about, it was fun playing in a 6A title, wants to play in the open, wants to go against the best, even if he understands that Pinnacle might not be able to match up against all of the best. He doesn't care. He has that mentality that he wants to play that. And obviously ALA Queen Creek wants that because they've been in the open the last 2 years and they've never backed down. Coach Ty Detmer wants his team there, and they've only continued to grow and grow and grow as they've moved up in conferences, now being 6A. So both these teams, I think offensively are exciting to watch. And I do think both teams will end up in the open regardless of the outcome of this game. They can both afford a loss here. I think ALA Queen Creek less so than Pinnacle with the loss already to Saguaro, even though that is technically a good loss in the computer rankings. But I am going to ride with Pinnacle in this game over ALA Queen Creek. It's going to come down close. It's going to be a shootout. I'm going to take them 38-35.
This is a tough one for me because I think we have to all agree that these are two historically successful teams in recent history. So we're not even like looking too far back, and we've seen a lot of success out of both of these teams. Yes, we're going to bring up Wyatt Horton every time we talk about Pinnacle. It's hard not to, for all the reasons that Coop and Spurge gave. I did a story on Wyatt to start the season, actually in spring ball, when he was competing for a quarterback spot. And we just, love that story. He's really, really proud of his Pinnacle team, as he should be. ALA Queen Creek has been highly competitive. I agree. I think both of these teams could be in the open this season. The tough thing for me here is I kind of want to ride with Pinnacle, but since you guys both did, I kind of don't. And so I'm not going to, even though I'm torn. So I'm just going to make it a pick for a chance at redemption. And I am going to take ALA Queen Creek, and I'm going to make it close because otherwise, why would I be torn? So I'm going to take it 35-31 to close out another week of quick picks. Hopefully a chance for us to all tie for first place, which would be really nice, but we'll have to see how this plays out. Stick with us when we come back. You're going to see or hear more of Bruce Cooper's voice. We'll learn a little bit about Coach Goody when we come back.
Welcome back to Bleacher Talk. We love Bruce Cooper. We know you all love Bruce Cooper. So today we wanted to bring him back in the B segment with the latest Coops Chronicles, Coach Goody over at Chandler High School. If you've ever been to a game on the sidelines or even in the stands, you've probably seen him around. Claudia, I know we've chatted. It's got a lot of B-roll on him of just all kinds of raps and things on the sidelines. Very high energy guy. So Chris Peterson and Bruce Cooper, they went ahead and did a story on him. So here's Coops Chronicles.
Time to eat some real estate, baby. Eat some real estate.
John Goody is full of life,
Let's eat.
character,
Slow feet don't eat. Let's eat.
and energy.
Slow feet don't eat. Let's eat. Slow feet don't eat, baby. Whose house is this?
He's in his 29th year as a volunteer coach, trying to hype,
You my kind of player, baby.
motivate,
Grim Reapers, baby. Let's go.
and support the high school kids.
All right, here you come. Go, son. I love the game of football. I love being around kids. Good run, good run. Stay on your feet. Good run. I love hyping the kids up. I don't do X's and O's. You know, I'm a hype coach. You know, I have the kids think from the head to the heart, to the bowl, to the field. It's our house, baby, huh? House of pain, baby. Grim Reapers, baby. Grim Reapers. Let's go.
Goody spent 20 years at Mesa High, 4 years at Westwood, and he's entering his 5th year here at Chandler High School.
Move the chains, baby. 5 yards. 5 yards. We'll take it.
He'll turn 72 years old in November, but walking away from the game and the kids just doesn't sit right with him.
You know, being around football players, it's my purpose and my why. I've never had any kids, didn't really have a dad, and I'm not trying to be anybody's dad or act like somebody's my kid, but it's a calling. You know, all my life, coaches have always been my father figure. They gave me a hug when I needed one and a kick in the butt when it was warranted. Tough love. Good job, gentlemen, good job. And a lot of these kids here don't have role models. And I'm not trying to be a role model, but you know, I love being around the game of football, whether it's boys and girls as tonight, you know, just to show support. It fills my heart with joy, you know, it's my calling. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house?
Freshmen, JV, and varsity. It doesn't matter. Goody is right there doing his thing.
Time to eat some real estate, baby. Eat some real estate. I can't explain it. You know, my wife even tells me, well, why do you go to the freshman games and JV games? You know, why don't you just stick to varsity? You know, I want the kids just to to see a coach, a varsity coach, at all their games, you know. And what I take from this is that a lot of the kids, when they're freshmen, I'm here until they're seniors, you know. And it's just something that I have to. You say now, all right. A lot of coaches, they coach, but they don't have that the kid understands, you know. And these kids, you know, they're 17, 18 years old. I have a way to talk their language. You know, I got a rap that I do that they love. Because I'm the man so mean, I'm the man so clean. I'm Coach Goody with a positive theme. I make them jump and shout and tell them what it's about. I say you stay in school, you don't be a fool.
Chicken wing, that's all it means, really. Chicken wing.
Coach Goody always just gets us turned up before the game, so, you know, we need that when we go in a big
Hype, baby. Hype, keeping it real. My thing is anything for good, spread Coach Goody like peanut butter. Because, you know, I'm there. I'm there. Woo! Way to go, boys. Way to go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So stay in school. Don't be a fool. Because you got to learn the golden rule. This is Coach Goody out. This is Coach Goody in. Tell somebody what it's all about with a big fat grin.
I hope after that, y'all love Coach Goody as much as we do. He's such a big teddy bear, but also a pretty solid rapper and just in it for all the right reasons. So he's so much fun. Definitely, if you're out at any Chandler High School football game, look out for the big chain around him and the cowboy hat, and you've found Coach Goody. But now we're going to pass the cowboy hat over to Eliav Goodbye for our social spotlight segment. We'll see you on the other end.
Hello and welcome back to Bleacher Talk. This is Social Spotlight, and I am Eliav Goodbye, talking to y'all from Los Angeles, getting ready for this next week of high school football. And we're going to start things off with Gage Baker putting up another record-setting performance. Shout out to Richard Obert for tweeting this. Paradise Honors senior Gage Baker broke his own single game record in 3A for 9 TD passes in a game with 10 versus Sholo. Unreal. And also ties the 11-man Arizona high school football record. Come on, that is beautiful and a great way to start. Congrats to you, Gage. Now we're going to move on to the ASU versus Fresno State game, where we had the Chandler Wolves well represented. Shout out to my guy Jordan Ham for putting that up. We got Tate Romney. We got Zach Bowers. We got DeCarlos Brooks, all the Chandler Wolves. And also, thank you, Coach Garrettson, for putting this up. 5 6A/Open AZ titles between these two guys right here, ASU's Jacob Conover and Fresno State's Mikey Keene, both QBs doing their thing at the next level. And speaking of doing your thing at the next level, the man, Parker Brailsford from Saguaro, becoming freshman of the week in the Pac-12 conference. He absolutely took care of Michael Penix. Also, another record-setting performance for Washington through the air. Good for you, Parker. I believe Washington has only allowed 1 sack all season, and he's been a big part of that. Again, come on. Arizona high school football athletes, I don't want to even hear it. They're doing awesome stuff. Now, he's already in college. Let's see someone who's headed to college. That's right, Luke Moga, Oregon football commit. He was flying for this 65-yard TD. Unfortunately, slope football didn't have much more to offer because NDP, Notre Dame Prep, took care of business behind quarterback Noah Trigueros. 5 TD passes and the win for his team. This is what Noah had to say, and he deflected. He made it more about the team, as he should, in a win like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a great team win overall. I mean, I think the offense really executed well. Colton Jones, my line, Brady Meyer, Jamison Bush had a great game. I'm really happy for him, so it was awesome.
And let's wrap things off at Williams Field. They had a homecoming parade, and it's not complete without, of course, our partners, Santan Ford, and their trucks leading the way. Obviously, things you love to see, a term we love to say, and Santan is the truck you want to have. So shout out to Santan Ford and Williams Field. That's all we got for Social Spotlight this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Bleacher Talk, and we'll see you next week.
And just like that, another week of Arizona high school football is in the books, and we're on to another. We'll see you next week for another episode of Bleacher Talk.